Hello everyone, today we are going to learn the anatomy of the articulated hand. The articulated hand is formed of three sets of bones. The 8 carpal bones, here you can see the 8 carpal bones in the 2 rows, and 5 metacarpals and 14 phalanges. The phalanges are 3 in each digit, 1, 2, 3 and 2 in the thumb. The 14 phalanges, 5 metacarpals and 8 carpals together forms the articulated hand. Now first let's see the carpus, which means the wrist. The carpus includes 8 carpal bones, 4 in the proximal row and 4 in the distal row. From the lateral to medial side, the proximal row includes scaphoid, lunate, the triquetral and the pisiform. The backbone is the triquetral, and in the distal row it is trapezium, trapezoid, capitate and the hamate. You can remember these bones with the help of a mnemonic. She looks too pretty, try to catch her. The first 4 bones are of the proximal row and the next 4 of the distal row from the lateral to medial side. Let's see individual carpal bones and their identification features. Each carpal bone can be easily identified with the help of their shape. The scaphoid is boat shaped and it has a constrictor neck in the middle. The lunate is moon shaped or the crescentric shaped, and the triquetral is a pyramidal shaped bone. Here you can see the pyramidal shaped triquetral, and it has an articular facet for the pisiform on the ventral aspect. On the other side you can see it, and next the P shaped pisiform. Here you can see the articular facet for the triquetrum on the pisiform. Coming to the distal row, it has the quadrilateral trapezium with a crest. Here you can see the crest of trapezium and a shoe-shaped trapezoid. The large capitate, it is the largest carpal bone and it has a rounded head and the proximal aspect, and a wedge-shaped hamate which has a hook-like process called the hook of hamate. Now let's see the ossification of carpus. The centers appear as follows. In the capitate is the first bone to ossify and the center appears around the second month, and in the hamitate it appears around the third month, and in the triquetral it appears around the third year. And next from the lunate to the trapezoid, lunate, scaphoid, trapezium and the trapezoid, it appears around in females it is in the 4th year and in males it is in the 5th year. And last bone to ossify is the pisiform. In the pisiform, the center appears around 12th year in males and 9th to 10th year in females. That's all about ossification. Now let's see the metacarpus. Meta means after. As the bones are present after the carpus, they are named so. These are the metacarpals. They are conventionally numbered from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the lateral to medial side or from the radial to the ulnar side. These are individual metacarpals, and each metacarpal has a proximal end called the base, which is expanded, and a distal end called the head, which is rounded, and an intervening shaft. The shaft is concave in the ventral aspect. Here is the ventral aspect and this is the dorsal aspect. It is convex on the dorsal aspect and has a triangular area in the distal end. The first metacarpal is different from the other metacarpals. Coming to the peculiarities of the first metacarpal, it is the shortest and stoutest bone, and it is rotated 90 degrees such a way that its dorsal convex aspect it is faced laterally, and the base of the first metacarpal has a saddle shaped articular surface to form the saddle joint with the trapezium, and the head of the first metacarpal is less convex as compared to the other metacarpals, and it is broad, and the base of the first metacarpal is not articulating with any other metacarpals, whereas they articulate with each other at the base. And coming to the epiphysis, all the metacarpals has an aberrant epiphysis, and the epiphysis appears in the first metacarpal in the proximal end, whereas others in the distal end. These are the peculiarities of the first metacarpal. Now let's see the phalanges. Phalanx means the array of shoulders. There are 14 phalanges in each hand, 3 in each finger, named as the proximal, middle and the distal phalanges, whereas 2 in each thumb, named as the proximal and the distal phalange. Each phalanx is a short long bone having a proximal end, the base, the intervening shaft, and a distal end, the head. Coming to the bases of the proximal phalanges has a concave articular facet to articulate with the head of metacarpals, whereas the bases of the middle and the distal phalanges is having the pulley shaped articular facet. And next the shaft is tapering towards the head, and on the ventral aspect it is flat or gently concave, whereas on the dorsal aspect it is convex. And next the head of the proximal phalanges and the middle phalanges is having a pulley shaped articular facet, whereas the head of the distal phalanges is non-articular and has horse-shaped tuberosity. You can see here the horse-shaped tuberosity, it is like this. And let's see some clinical correlations of the articulated hand. First, the scaphoid fracture. The scaphoid fracture is the most commonly seen fracture of the carpal bones, and it usually occurs when a fall happens on the outstretched hand. The fractures occurs at the narrow waist of the scaphoid. At the narrow waist, here you can see the scaphoid fracture. And coming to the blood supply of scaphoid, it is usually with the help of two nutrient arteries supplying differently for the proximal and the distal segment, whereas but in 10 to 15% of cases the nutrient supply of the proximal segment is also derived from the blood supply of the dorsal segment. And when the fracture happens at the middle, the proximal segment is deprived of the blood supply and may undergo necrosis. Next, the lunate dislocation. Lunate is the most commonly dislocated carpal bone. It is dislocated anteriorly when a person falls with acutely dorsiflexed hand, and it presents the features of carpal tunnel syndrome. Next, the Bennett's fracture. The Bennett's fracture is a fracture at the base of first metacarpal, and it is intra-articular, and this may be leading to the dislocation of the first metacarpal. Next, the Boxer's fracture. It is the fracture of the neck of metacarpal and most commonly involves the neck of fifth metacarpal. You can see the Boxer's fracture. This was undisplaced fracture of the phalanx. This may be oblique or horizontally, and whenever this fracture happens, this can be treated satisfactorily by trapping the fractured finger with the neighboring finger. They will be strapping with the neighboring finger so that this will be treated. Next, let's see some sesamoid bones in the articulated hand. First, the pisiform. Here you can see the pisiform, which is a sesamoid bone in the tendon of flexor carpi ulnaris. And next, two sesamoid bones on the palmar aspect of the head of first metacarpal. Here is the first metacarpal, and there will be two sesamoid bones seen. And in 75% of cases, you will see a sesamoid bone in the capsule of the interphalangeal joint of the thumb. And in other 75% of cases, you will be seeing the sesamoid bone on the ulnar side. This is ulna, on the ulnar side of the metacarpophalangeal joint of the little finger. Here you can see, and remaining you can see a few sesamoid bones in a very less cases. Thank you.